Well, there goes that series. There goes that series. There's no other way to look at it, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way to look at it. Nobody's overcoming an 0-3 deficit in the NBA Finals. It hasn't happened. There's no reason to believe that it's going to happen now. This is not one of those situations where anybody's going to say anything different today. So you're not going to get any surprises there. We got a whole bunch of people coming on the show, but I want to say this. I'm a movie buff. I like my movies. You remember that actor Zach Galifianakis in the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell? You know what he used to say all the time in that movie? We're bringing our brooms because it's a mess. First takes in the house in Dallas.
Two elite scores have found their stroke here in Game 3.
From Kyrie chaos here in the first half, he's got 20.
Tim Hardaway on the drive, goes right. White blocked by White. Tatum down the other end.
Brown with the flush. Brown continues the barrage.
Dallas desperate not to fall behind. 0-3. Corner three-pointer Washington.
It's good. 6-point game.
Brown runs into Doncic, blocking foul. And that's it. He's fouled out. Irving pull up, jump shot.
It's good.
Drives, pulls up, jump shot.
Puts it in.
They hold off a furious comeback attempt and now have a 3-0 lead here in these NBA Finals.
3-0. 3-0. That's what's happening. Brian Windhorst, good to see you this morning. Of course, Stephen A. Smith, my girl Andrea Carter.
Hello.
I'm Molly Karam. Hi, everybody.
You're feeling good. You're feeling great this morning,
I'm feeling
aren't
good.
you?
It's a Friday Eve, Andrea. Feeling real good about my pick.
Right,
How are
I'm
you guys
sure you
feeling
are.
about that Mavs pick?
We're just talking about you. I'm sure you feel wonderful.
I'm feeling
about
good.
Your pick.
I'm feeling good.
I will take complete ownership for my pick.
I actually wish we had a full screen of my finals picks, since I joined the show, but it's all good.
It's okay.
Stephen A., Wendy, how are you guys?
We could talk about Molly's final picks all she wants to. Pats herself on the back. She can do all of that. She's more than welcome to do that. Let me tell you this right now. The series ends sooner vacation begins. I'm good. No matter what, I'm good.
On that note, let's get it started. The Celtics hold off the Mavericks, one win from their 18th NBA title. Jason Tatum scored 31, Jaylen Brown had 30, and the Celtics held up a furious Dallas rally to win 106-99 and go up 3-0 in the NBA Finals. The Mavs' Luka Doncic fouled out with 4:12 remaining. Luka is not having it with the refs.
Luka, what did you think of the whistles that went against you in the fourth quarter?
I don't know. We couldn't play physical, so I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but sixth foul in the NBA Finals, where I'm like this. Come on, man. Better than that.
All right, Wendy, let's break it down. How much blame should Luka get for the loss?
Well, the reason this series is 3-0 is because the Celtics are awesome. It's a coronation for them. They haven't lost in a month. They won 10 or 9 straight games. They're on the verge of doing something we've never seen before, which is to sweep the conference finals and finals. We have to start by saying they're taking it. But it was extremely disappointing the way Luka was unable to be there for his team at the end of this game. They very nearly pulled off an amazing comeback that could have pivoted this series, because I don't know if Kristaps Porzingis is going to be able to play again. I don't care if the series goes on a couple more weeks. I don't know if he's going to be able to. And this was a great opportunity for Dallas to really try to get some momentum going. And regardless of what you think of the 5th foul or whatever other foul, he knew he had 5 fouls. Absolutely knew he had 5 fouls. And to commit that foul in that moment is just a terrible lack of judgment by him. And the reason it's so disappointing to me, the reason I reacted viscerally, is that I've seen him do this now several times. Most of it is when I've watched him play for the Slovenian national team, and I realize that, FIBA basketball is not, the NBA Finals, but it is basically the precursor to it. And I watched him in the World Cup last year get ejected in the elimination game when they're trying to qualify for the Olympics, when he completely lost his composure. I watched him 2 years ago in Eurobasket get fouled. A very similar situation, playing against a team. It's a 4-point game with 3 minutes left. He fouls out because a technical foul counts as a personal in FIBA basketball, and he fouls out. I've just seen it over and over, and that's what's so frustrating is that he is such a brilliant player. He's such a special talent. I really believe he's going to be back in the finals. He's going to be holding the gold trophy, but he's got to learn from this. And it's not just the 6th foul. It's laying on the court, complaining at officials when you give up a basket on the other end. He's never going to be a great defensive player. I understand that. I understand that there's been plenty of guys who've gone to the Hall of Fame who can't defend, who he's comparable to. But he hurts his team by the way he complains to the officials. He hurts his team by the way he lays on the court, why he gives up possessions. You can get away with that in November and December. You can get away with that in game 1 of the first round or when you're ahead in the second round or whatever. You can't get away with that in basically an elimination game in the finals. And that's got to be the lesson for Luka. This could be the pivot point for him because it was a missed opportunity for it to be a pivot point in the series.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely going to have to be a moment of growth for Luka moving forward. For me, defensively, there were so many lapses in judgment. There were so many moments where he wasn't locked in. There were so many moments where he took a bad angle. He was out of position. And everyone's going to talk about this 5th foul, or everyone's going to talk about the 5th foul. I thought we were about to show it. Everyone was going to talk about that 5th foul. And, oh, maybe that was the bang-bang call that didn't go his way. You could possibly say that about the 6th foul, even though I 100% thought that was a blocking call. But you couldn't say anything about his 3rd foul or his 4th foul. The 3rd foul he picked up against Derek White because he was frustrated. He lunged for the ball. He lunges for the ball completely out of position, gets a foul on Derek White. And then the 4th foul, he gets on Peyton Pritchard at half court, just trying to defend, not doing anything except lunging left to right. So the 3rd and 4th silly fouls, the 3rd and 4th careless fouls that he even put his hand up and said, yeah, I fouled, probably thinking they weren't going to come back to bite him later in the game. They did. Those careless moments, the mindless moments where he is not engaged defensively or lunging defensively, those hurt him in the end when he didn't get the calls that could have possibly went his way. He's not going to get those calls. When you're consistently out of position on defense, the referees are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And that was a hard lesson for Luka to have to learn in that game.
Well, first of all, Andrea, you're absolutely positively on point, and I saw you saying it early on Get Up, and I couldn't applaud you more because that 3rd and 4th foul was the most egregious because it made no sense whatsoever. It was so far away from the basket. I think the 3rd foul, that last foul when he was reaching in on Pritchard, what are you doing? It's completely unnecessary, and it was nonchalant, and it was a pouting foul. You're upset that things are not going your way. You're complaining to the referees, and that's what you elect to do. And, of course, Luka deserves most of the blame for this. It was a horrible performance, 27 points on 27 shots. But it wasn't because of that. It was because of the level of selfishness and the lack of accountability. You are the superstar of the team. You're supposed to be the leader of the team. Let's put this, y'all, in its proper perspective. We sit here today with Kyrie Irving being seen as the reasonable one, the level-headed individual that needs to help and assist in reeling in Luka Doncic because Luka Doncic is so petulant and is so petty. Let's not forget he's screaming at his bench and screaming at his coaches, effing challenge the call or whatever. We saw that. You know, he's pointing the finger at everybody but himself, and he takes himself out of the game. And so we also got to take into account this statistically. Do y'all know in these 3 games of this NBA Finals, in the 4th quarter, Luka Doncic has more fouls and more turnovers than field goals. In the 4th quarter of the NBA Finals, he's only shot 3 of 15 in 3 games. He's averaging like 2.8 points in the 4th quarter of the NBA Finals. This is Luka Doncic we're talking about here. And primarily because of the petulance. But with everything that you've said, Andrea, with everything that you've said, Wendy, nobody brought this up. I brought this up last night. You know what really ticked me off about Luka Doncic? Watch the game. If you know the game and you know the flow, you could see that Kyrie was in his bag. I'm not talking about the first half when he exploded, had 20, hit them 4 3-point. I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about even in the second half. He was getting to the spots when he wanted to. He was getting in the lane when he wanted to. He was getting to the free throw line when he needed to. He was drawing contact. He was nullifying and neutralizing to some degree what Boston was throwing in their direction, especially after they were down 21 and going a 20-2 run, and they come back. And then the next thing you know, with him flowing that way, Luka would get the ball, and Luka wouldn't pass it. He's holding the ball. He's bouncing the ball. He's throwing a bunch of pump fakes. He's slowing the pace. It's Jaylen Brown on you, bro.